All of the engagement I have with stakeholders within the American economy, I continue to see so many of them as very trusted allies and partners. In terms of the government of the United States of America, they are really re-evaluating the engagement and the relationships they have elsewhere in the global economy, and we're going to engage in that with them in good faith. Europe and America have been friends now for many, many decades. It's a deeply important political, cultural and economic relationship. We need to remember that in these trying times and work hard to see, can we find an alternative to the trade difficulty that we're all so aware of.
Are you confident that a zero-for-zero deal can be clinched?
So I do believe an agreement can be reached. And I believe if we use the time ahead wisely, we can at least create a framework in which we can avoid measures being taken on both sides of the Atlantic that could really harm ourselves, harm Europe and harm America. So I believe an agreement can be reached, but at the same time, I do know we have lots of work that we have to do in order to get to that point.
Do you support the stance of the European Commission, which of course is the main negotiator on behalf of the European member states? It's keeping the pressure out, but at the same time it's staying flexible when it comes to some of the countermeasures. And that should be in your best interest as the Irish Finance Minister too.
So I absolutely support the work the Commission are doing on our behalf. I believe they have got the balance right between responding back to what has happened here in the United States, but also avoiding unnecessarily escalating what is already a very difficult situation. The Commission have the competence and the legal competence to negotiate on our behalf, and I believe the way they have handled this very complex issue so far is absolutely right. And they have my full trust and confidence that they'll be able to continue to do that in the future.
How harmful would a tax on US technology companies be for your country?
So it's very difficult to accurately forecast what would be the effect of different measures on different sectors within our economy. Very broadly, from the economic modelling that we have done, it is indicated that if the EU and the US were both to go up to high levels of tariffs, it would have an effect of 2 to 4 points of GDP growth, lost GDP growth over the medium term in our economy, and would result in up to 80,000 jobs that could have been created or kept, not being created or kept. So it is a material impact relating to the fact that we're a very open, very trade intensive an economy. But on the other hand, even in that scenario, our economy would still be growing. We'd still have a very high level of people at work. And we have public finances that are in a strong position at the moment as we stand on the edge of maybe all this change taking place.
So technology, the US technology companies, that's one of the key drivers of the Irish economy and some of the revenues, but also, of course, the pharma industry.
Sure.
And we don't know what the tariffs will be just yet. Do you have any idea as to whether there could be a softer approach from the US? Do you have any inkling as to what that would look like?
So that hasn't been shared with us yet, and I know the US administration are weighing that up at the moment. Really what we want to do with Secretary Besant, with the administration of President Trump, is engage with them to negotiate on these issues. We do know that there are issues in relation to global trade, in relation to the perceived fairness of that President Trump wants to see changes in. And what we will do is engage with his representatives in good faith to see is there a way in which we can do that avoids really inflicting great harm upon us. And of course then one of the issues within all of that will be what will happen to particular sectors in the Irish and the European economy. And we believe life science is a really important contributor to the progress that we're making in many, many different ways. And we believe global supply chains are a really important element in that, and we will be making the case for their attention.
The US has upended the rule book, the global order, the global rule book on not just trade, of course, but also on defense. And the EU has crafted a very forceful response in terms of more defense spending that was led by Germany, of course. Do you foresee that this could be the start of a golden age for Europe thanks to that increased spending and the diversification of trade ties as a result of these tariffs?
So there is a unique opportunity for the European Union but there's also a necessity for the European Union. The necessity for the European Union is we need to deepen our own economic foundations. We need to enhance our own competitiveness. We need to deepen our capital markets. Projects that have been moving on for years really need to move on with far more speed and far more momentum. That's the necessity. The opportunity is as a part of the world that's still committed to global trade and global commerce, to see the euro prosper as being a currency that plays an even bigger part in the global economy.